Hello, Eastern fans, and welcome to the latest episode of House Calls. I'm Scott Wetherbee, Director of Athletics at Eastern Michigan, and I want to give you an insider's look to our Eastern family, and we've been doing a lot of different teams and stuff, but today I have a very exciting House Calls where we're checking in on our Super Bowl champions who played here at Eastern. And we're also live on Facebook for the first time, giving it a try. And so if you have questions, shoot us some questions. And let me introduce who we got here with us. We got two-time Super Bowl champion from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Charlie Batch. Charlie, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem.
2010 Super Bowl champion from the Green Bay Packers, TJ Lang. TJ, thanks for joining us.
What's up, Scott?
And from this year's Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, we have Andrew Wylie. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I also have our head football coach, Chris Creighton, who is here. He's going to help me keep these guys in line the best we can. We also are trying to have, we're working on some technical difficulties to have our three-time Super Bowl champion, John Banaszak, with us as well. So hopefully John will be able to pop in and join us. But guys, thanks for coming on. And Charlie, since you've won two of these championships, let's start with you first. Tell us where you're at right now, kind of hunkered down at home, and tell us what it was like winning two Super Bowls, playing in three of them, and kind of how that changed your life and your career.
Yeah, I'm based in Pittsburgh, and this is hometown for me. I just had the pleasure of being home and playing for the hometown team. And, playing in those Super Bowls, man, it was unbelievable. And growing up a Steeler fan and seeing those guys, celebrating, and all my family talking about how prideful they were of Steelers Nation, and then having the opportunity to put that black and gold on was something that really was a dream come true for me. And then going through that run that we did, especially the first one. And I know you mentioned the three that we were a part of, but that first one, everybody on that team, the majority of us were all going through that together. We were all young, dumb, didn't know what to expect. We were just out there having fun. We had one person on the team that actually went to a Super Bowl, but he was on a 95 team. So they lost that Super Bowl against the Cowboys. So going through that whole experience, we were a number 6 seed, and no wild card team has ever went on the road and accomplished that feat before. So we were doing something that never was done before. And when we were, we got on a run and we went into that playoff chase, it was something that we felt like nobody can stop us. And to go win 3 on the road, going and taking the hardest route, you're talking about beating the number 3 team in Cincinnati. Then we go on the road and beat Peyton Manning in Indianapolis up there in their house, and then going to Denver and beating them in the AFC Championship game, and then having to go through Detroit, through the Seahawks, if they were the number 1 seed coming out of the NFC, and we ended up winning that game. And that was something that really, for me, that was that one that I won't forget, because we had that celebration, that Super Bowl parade, over 200,000 people all celebrating that, and having your family be a part of it, man, that was truly remarkable. And then being able to experience that another time as we beat the Arizona Cardinals in 2008. And man, that one that really stings me is that 2010 one that we lost to the Packers. And I know somebody on this call will probably let me know that he took that one away from us, and TJ Lang there.
Tell us a little bit about playing Charlie in the 2010 Super Bowl, winning that one that year.
Yeah, I didn't feel bad about it because Charlie already had a couple, so it was nice of him to share with the rest of us. I remember that year was actually a lot of what Charlie said kind of rang true for us. It was my second year in the NFL. We had a pretty young team. Same thing. We were a 6 seed. We snuck into the playoffs. Last week of the season, we beat, I think it was the Bears, to lock up the 6 seed. And when we got in, I just remember the mindset being, we're playing free football, man. Let's go have fun and let's see what happens. We didn't have all the high expectations that come with a 1 or a 2 seed. We didn't have the home field advantage. We knew it was going to be tough, but we went on the road and started in Philadelphia, beat them, beat Atlanta, and then ended up beating Chicago, division rival, to go to the Super Bowl. And it was just crazy. I think looking back on it, I was a probably 22, 23-year-old kid. And I don't think I really appreciated it as much as in the time, because it's like when it's your second year and you go in the Super Bowl, it's, you're like, great, that wasn't that hard. This is fun. Coming down to the game, I was, the sixth lineman. I was the first backup in. We didn't have any injuries, thank God, because that would have been pretty stressful for a young guy as myself. But incredible game. I think Charlie will tell you is a little bit. We got out in front pretty early on, feeling pretty good about ourselves, and then that Pittsburgh defense was just one of the best groups to in the NFL to ever play. Especially that front seven that they had at the time. Crawled their way back in the game and had a couple turnovers late, ended up sealing the deal. And for me, I think my best memory from that was I was standing right about midfield after the game, right, as the clock's ticking down. And one of our big defensive linemen, Ryan Pickett, was standing there, and he was trying to pick up the Gatorade cooler by himself. And he looked over at me and he said, "Give me some help." And I was actually one of the two guys that got to pour the Gatorade over the head coach. So that was probably my claim to fame in the Super Bowl, my input on that whatsoever. But looking back on it, 10 years ago, I could tell you I definitely appreciate that team and that run that we had a whole lot more than I did when we were going through it.
That's awesome. So we finally got 3-time Super Bowl champion on, John Banaszak. John, can you hear us? See if his audio is working. Oh, he can't talk. He can wave.
I see him.
I think, yep. So he can hear us. So we're going to work on his audio, or we're going to have to do sign language. But
he has to hit that mute button on his phone.
We got to unmute. So we'll have to. Andy
give him a chalkboard and he can write his answers up and hold them up to the screen. Yes.
So Andrew, obviously you're still playing. You're actually very similar to TJ. TJ was in kind of his second year and had a chance to win. And at the time, it's tough for him to realize you're kind of in that moment. You think, oh, we're going to do this again. So talk a little bit about what it was like being on this team this year. You guys had a heck of a run and won the championship.
Yeah. I mean, it was an incredible year, and it was something great to be a part of. And even how we got there is incredible. We win on week 17, and we're assuming we're getting second seed, and we're gonna have to play next week, and all of a sudden the Dolphins beat the Patriots, and we lock the first round bye, and then all 2 playoff games, and then that Super Bowl game, we're down by double digits every single game. So it was just incredible to be a part of, and we had the privilege just being on this team, and then being down in Miami, it was absolutely beautiful. We had a few of Coach Reed's old players come and talk to us. Donovan McNabb was there. He had some incredible things to say. And a lot of other guys too. And it's something I'll never forget. Obviously, it's the biggest thing that I've done in my life so far. And kind of like what TJ was saying, but I got that same feeling. I think we'll be right back there next year. We got an incredible offense, and our defense is really coming into their own too. And like I said, it's just incredible to be a part of.
Yeah, you got a pretty decent quarterback back there that can help lead you guys. So that's
all right.
Not too bad. John, have we got your audio yet?
We're ready to roll now.
Awesome.
About that, okay? You got to understand that it's a whole different world out there now. Yeah. I'm trying to be technology savvy too. So
I bet you when you were winning Super Bowl, when you were winning Super Bowl championships in the late 70s, you probably never thought you'd be sitting on a computer having interviews and doing this as well. But I'm glad you were able to join us.
We didn't know what computers were back then. Right? Yeah.
You just wanted to hit somebody, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's right. So what's pretty cool is we just went from 4 champions to seven championships amongst this group. And John, I had asked these guys to tell me a little bit about one, where's home right now and where you're kind of hunkered down, and then tell us a little bit about what it was like, winning the Super Bowl, winning them 3 times, and kind of how that's changed your life or your career.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that, the first one was Super Bowl 10. And I wasn't drafted. I signed with the Steelers as a rookie free agent, which took an awful lot of, I guess, courage, because they had just won Super Bowl IX. I had an awful lot of people doubt me whether or not I made the right decision to sign with the defending Super Bowl champions. They were a very young football team at that time. There were a number of people, even at Eastern, that questioned my decision. But I had never played on a championship football team. And so I was thinking, heck, if I sign with the Steelers and make that football team, I got a chance to become a Super Bowl champion. And that's exactly what the reason why I signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers was. To win the Super Bowl your rookie year is just phenomenal. It's amazing. Even back then, there certainly isn't the coverage back then as it is today. But that we were on top of the world. There's no doubt about that. Playing as a backup and a special teams player on Super Bowl X was pretty exciting. It was a great game against the Cowboys, and Roger Staubach and those guys. I mean, they just it was really probably the best Super Bowl up to that point. And then we don't get in the Super Bowl in for 2 years, and then we're pretty fortunate. We get into Super Bowl 13, which was much different for me, because I ended up starting Super Bowl 13 and 14 at defensive end, and obviously my role was much larger in those two games. In Super Bowl 13, we beat the Cowboys again. It was the first rematch of a Super Bowl, and we were the first team to win 3 Super Bowls. I had a pretty good game, a couple sacks and fumble recovery and a bunch of tackles. So obviously my role was much different than it was in Super Bowl 10. And then we go back to back in Super Bowl 13 and 14, and we played the Rams in Super Bowl 14 out at the Rose Bowl, which is the best field that I had ever played on. And it was just an amazing, amazing game in front of 103,000 people. We ended up winning that one too. And I'm a three-time Super Bowl champion.
That's awesome. So with
that, hold on, Scott. I want to 3-time Super Bowl champion. How difficult was it at that time to go and become an undrafted free agent? Back
then there were 17 rounds in the draft. Okay, there were 475 players taken before, and I wasn't one of them. I mean, I had to be some kind of, I must have evaluated myself a little bit differently. But yeah, one of the reasons I signed with the Steelers was because Woody Widenhofer, who just passed away, God rest his soul. Woody was at Eastern Michigan my freshman year. And when I called and talked to him, he said, "John, we'll keep you in training camp until at least the college all-star game," which was 2 weeks. If you can't show them what you can do in 2 weeks, you don't belong there anyway. I also had an offer from the New England Patriots, and they had like 150 people in camps. And I mean, they were cutting guys after 2 days. And I said, I don't want to be any part of that. So the reason I signed with the Steelers was because of what Woody told me. And we played the old college all-star game. Back then, you young guys, we played 7 preseason games. Okay. And training camp was 10 weeks long with no days off, double session.
They're all saying no way.
Andrew, you can't even think of what that's like. Okay.
Oh man, we just got our preseason games cut down to 3 this year. So
yeah, I know you did.
With leather helmets and everything, man. That's crazy.
So I went to camp, and I knew that I could not give them a reason to release me or cut me. So that was my philosophy, and my thought process, Charlie, was I'm not going to give those guys a reason to cut me. And so I really, truly, every day I stepped on that field, felt that I had to outwork everybody in order to make that football team.
Hey, John, I did want to mention, you also had an Eastern Michigan teammate for 2 of those years.
Reggie Garrett.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and Ron Johnson.
And Ron, Reggie Garrett, first of all, played in 9 and 10.
Okay.
And obviously Ron in Super Bowl 13 and 14.
Yeah.
And we had 2 Eastern Michigan Hurons, okay, that started both Super Bowl 13 and 14, which is really unbelievable.
It really is. That's awesome. Coach, you have some questions for him?
Yeah, well, the only thing that links me to you guys outside of Eastern Michigan is that I got to go to my first Super Bowl this year too. So when Wylie made it, my 13-year-old daughter and I got a plastic gun and a ski mask and found our way down to Miami. And what a thrill, man. Just so proud of him. And then just representing you guys' program now, it's fun being on this call. And we talk about you guys all the time. That might sound funny or whatever, but when you really think about it, we really do. I mean, we recruit every day, and we talk about you guys all the time. So I guess one question I'd have for the group is just share your favorite Eastern Michigan football memory, whether it be a game or something off the field. But share that for those listening right now, if you would.
Charlie, you want to go first?
Sure. I think for me, it was probably a game that was a coming out game for me. And this was the 94 season. Ron Cooper was the head coach, and all year we were kind of going back and forth. I was the backup. I would play sporadically throughout the season, get a series here, series in the second half. And the last game of the season, we're playing against Toledo. And I remember at that time we're down 17-3 as we are closing on the first quarter. And I just remember the offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach, quarterback coach, they're all kind of getting together. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And they were talking about me possibly entering into the game at that point. And they made the decision. And at that point, I said, Charlie, you're up. So we get into the game. The game kind of go back and forth. The first couple drives, we put touchdowns on the board. We get it back into the game. And lo and behold, we get to the end of the season. This is all right. We're at Nearson Stadium. And we're down, 37-34 at that time. And it's about a minute and some change left. We had to drive the length of the football field and put a touchdown on the board. Wow. And we ended up doing that. We had a double post route from the left, scrambled. I was rolling to the left, and I saw Ontario Pryor. He actually was running left to right, and then saw me scrambling, and he kind of reverse pivot in the back of the end zone. Now he's working right to left, and I'm holding on as long as I could. And I see him kind of breaking the safety sitting down. I knew I had to get the ball over top of him. Was able to deliver that football, and Ontario made one heck of a catch. That cannon went off, and this was before the convention center is there now. It used to be the grass with a block E on it. And, man, that cannon went off, and our whole sideline just beelined over to celebrate with Ontario Pryor. And next thing you know, we're all standing on the top of the grass in the block E, everybody celebrating, and that crowd was unbelievable at that point. And that was one of the moments that I was like, wow, I really believed in myself from a confidence perspective to say, man, hopefully I get this opportunity next year to be the starter moving forward. And lo and behold, I was able to do that. And I posted a video of it, I think it was this year, whenever we were playing Toledo. And I posted that little clip of the YouTube that I put on YouTube, man. And a lot of our teammates at that time, man, they were like, man, it brought back a lot of great memories during that time. But that was November of 1994. That was my Eastern Michigan versus Toledo game.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Is that back when they could tailgate off the hill there where the combo was? Did you actually tailgate there?
There was, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure where they tailgate. All I know is just that grass went all the way up, and I was more worried about getting on the field than wondering where the tailgates were.
Yeah. CJ, tell us your favorite.
Tailgating before games up on the hill, man. Yeah. No, I think every year we were like so close. I mean, my freshman year there, I started off as a defensive tackle, started a couple games. We lost to Cincinnati by 2 points in the opener. We we missed an extra point to lose another game. I mean, we were, I think, in 4 of our losses, that was the last year we played 11 games. I think we were 4-7. We were 1 point, 1 score games away from being an 8-win team, and we knew we had a good team. Every year was kind of the same, though. We were really close, but I think my favorite was my senior year. The last couple games of the year, we had to go to Temple, and then we were finishing with Central Michigan at home, which is obviously the biggest game, biggest rivalry for us. We go to Temple. The coach says, listen, we got a quarterback, Andy Schmidt. He's got a rifle for an arm. We're going to throw the ball every damn play. And as offensive lineman, you're like, I don't know, man. We kind of want to run the ball once in a while, But we threw the ball, I think, that game 76 times. We put up 52 points, and I think we lost 55-52, which was insane. But it was so much fun. And then the next week comes around, we play Central Michigan. Last game for me as a senior, we got to play at home. I think it was the day after Thanksgiving. We did the same thing. We said we're gonna stick to what's working. We're gonna throw the ball, and we came out and we beat Central Michigan, I think 56-52 that day, and it was just so special. I think everything hit you at once. You were so happy to obviously beat the in-state division rival, but at the same time, you're like, it's over. My college career is over. I don't know what's going to happen. Leading up to the NFL, if that's going to happen, but you just reflect and it's just such a surreal time. You get to walk off the field a winner. We felt like champions that day. And I think it hit me at that point how much I was going to miss Eastern Michigan, how fast those 4 years went by, and it was all over like that. I think that was one of the memories that I'll cherish forever.
That's awesome. So I don't know who gave out our link, but we're getting Zoom bombed here.
I thought we said Super Bowl winners. What's this guy?
I mean,
Hey, I'm just trying to get some insight. That's all. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to learn from Wylie and all you guys.
Well, you and John could probably have a good conversation. I don't know. We don't know much about defensive end play, but talk about this guy, man. What'd you have last year? 10.5, 11 sacks? Just
yeah, something like that. A little something, but we got work to do.
Coming out on fire, man. Damn.
Oh yeah.
Good for you, Max.
No, I appreciate it, brother.
Matt, thanks for Zoom bombing us, man. Love having you come on with us.
Absolutely. I just wanted to soak up some knowledge.
Are you in Las Vegas?
No, I'm in LA right now.
Oh,
I've been working out here.
all right.
Oh yeah.
So I know this is a tough one for Coach, but we're happy for you that you had a heck of a rookie year. I like to still call him freshman, but rookie year, and excited for it. But damn it, we could have sure used you on the field this year for a few more wins. If you would have had 10.5 sacks in the MAC for us, it probably would have been double that. Right, Coach?
Yeah, no, hey, look, man, Max had an unbelievable rookie year, and our whole team, our whole program was right there with him all the way through. It was pretty awesome. And just like, John, you talked about, proving the whole world wrong with all those undrafted free. I mean, I think that's the link with Eastern Michigan football that I can tell from when it started till right now is we're just trying to, prove people wrong and TJ, you started out as a defensive lineman, and, Andrew, you didn't have a slew of offers coming out. You lost all that weight. You're an undrafted free agent, Max, no one really knows who he is necessarily. And here he is, just ripping the whole place apart. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I think everybody with Eastern Michigan football is linked in that way. The underdog, and proving people wrong. I love it.
It's good to be underdog. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Been one all my life.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think when people always ask me how I got to Eastern Michigan, they're like, how did you get there? And I'm like, they actually came down to recruit a receiver on the team by the name of Richard Walker. And coach looked over and said, "Who's offering the quarterback?" They said, "Nobody at this point. So we need to get him on campus." And once I got on campus, they made an offer, and that was it. And literally, Eastern was the first to offer. Of course, at that time, I was waiting for the University of Pittsburgh because they were in my backyard. They never offered, and I ended up in Ypsilanti, and I never regretted that decision whatsoever. Gave me an opportunity to grow up 5 hours away from home, but yet knowing that I had to continue to put that work in, and it wasn't easy. And everybody has that same story as it relates to possibly getting, how they got to Eastern Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know I do.
Yeah, it was my only offer. I had no plans on even going to college, honestly. And then Eastern came through, gave my only college offer, and I took it, and I had a great 4 years.
I got out of the Marine Corps on January 15th, 1971. 10 days later, I walked onto that campus, sight unseen, no recruit visit. I knew one person there was Nick Coso, who was a coach at Kent State while I was in the Marine Corps. He moved over to Eastern Michigan. And when I met Dan Boyster, he said that Dan Boyster, head coach, was a Korean War Marine. And I'm a Vietnam War Marine. And we had that once a Marine, always a Marine thing going right now. And as a walk-on, I knew I was in the right place immediately after I met Coach Boyster, and I won a scholarship that spring, and it all turned out very well for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's funny how Charlie and I are about the same. I remember one of our coaches came to recruit a linebacker, and they I think it was in stretch lines. They looked over and said, "Who's number 50?" "Oh, it's a big kid, And they said, "Same thing. Nobody's really interested in him. He's kind of a two-way player. He's a good player, but no interest." And Eastern was the first school to offer me. I took the visit there. Absolutely fell in love with the place, and ended up getting a couple really late offers, like the day before signing day, which I knew at that point kids were dropping out. They were just trying to fill scholarships. I didn't, it wasn't going to be a right fit. I knew Eastern was a place for me the day I stepped on campus there. But I think it's like what you said, Coach, was especially for all of us now that have played in the NFL is it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter. You're a first-round pick, an undrafted type guy. When you come in that building, and the veterans want to know one thing. They want to know if you're a guy that can help us win. It doesn't matter what school you're from. It doesn't matter if you're high pick. How can you help us win? And you go in there and keep your head down, grind. That's what the guys love about. And I think that's what at least all of us have in common. And a couple other guys I played with that had a chance in the NFL. Jason Jones was the same type player. Go in, work hard, make a name for yourself the right way. And I think that was something which seems like, all of us was kind of ingrained in us at an early age, 17, 18-year-old kid when nobody wanted us and Eastern gave us a chance, and kind of builds you into that sort of character of, I'm going to work for everything I got. Nothing's ever been handed to me. I'm going to work. I got no problem with it.
That's awesome.
Max, what was your recruiting? What was your recruiting like?
Yeah, it was it was similar to a lot of us in here. I had one offer, and it was Eastern, and Coach Creighton and Coach McCaslin at the time, they came and saw me play basketball and stuff like that, and they were on me heavy. From the second we started communicating, and they showed me more love than anybody. I was trying to play tight end at some other schools, and Eastern was once they sent me that offer after the camp, I was like, I'm going to Eastern. I got family back in Michigan. I was like, it's perfect. And yeah, it was the best decision I made. I loved it. I had so many experiences, having Wylie and Darian and those, old linemen and all the guys take me under their wing once I got there. It just made it so much easier. And yeah, it was one of the best experiences of my life. I can't lie about it.
I got a question for you guys. Sorry, Scott, real quick. Max and Wylie, obviously you guys practicing against each other for a bunch of years. Was there ever the time when you guys kind of looked at each other and was like, yeah, that dude's got a chance. He's going to be good?
Absolutely, man. I mean, Max and I were getting after it for a couple of years, man. And, he was, he started out on scout team defensive end, but I mean, he was terrorizing us tackles. And so I knew Eastern had something special. Even his redshirt year when he was just balling in practice. So I knew for a little while, and I'm just glad it worked out for him, man. Having a tremendous rookie year.
What about
Yeah,
you, man?
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Ever since I've seen Wylie windmill a basketball at 300+ pounds, I was like, all right, this dude's a freak of nature. Yeah, me and Wylie, we were going at it every single day, and I was so mad that I got redshirted, and I was like 220 pounds at the time, and I was just trying to make y'all's days miserable. And yeah, some of those moments like the scout team year, I feel like made me into who I am today. I really had to work every single day to try to prove that I belong and everything like that. So, seeing Wylie twice a year now in the NFL is like it's the most surreal, experience, seeing him out there and getting to talk a little mess back and forth. And it's awesome. I love it.
I just want to be there I want that wired mic moment whenever you break that huddle and you realize that Max is right there on the other side of the line of scrimmage and you're lining up saying, boy, we done went one-on-one many a times at Eastern. Now this is for real in the National Football League. I want that mic moment. We have to have it.
He'll line up that feet technique a few times, man. So we'll actually get to go at it, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Charlie and John had the same experience, too. I mean, I had a guy – Jason Jones was a year older than me. He was a second-round pick in 2008, defensive tackle, and same story. I mean, he came in as, I think, a tight end. He was 240 pounds for a couple of years, just wreaking havoc, and I had to block him every single day. And I'm like, I've obviously never won against an NFL player. I don't know what they look like, but I would imagine if anybody's got a chance, it's probably him because he's a damn good player. And I think it drove him. He drove me to get better, and I drove him to get better. And I think that's what you need on every level of competition. You need somebody else to push you. And it's just really cool seeing Max and Wylie watching you guys at Eastern for so long, knowing you were competing. Now you're in the same division in NFL, highest level, doing it all over again, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
They'll have Patrick Mahomes mic'd up, go over to you and go, are you going to keep an eye on that guy or what? I can.
So, yeah, funny story about, we, not with Pat or anything, but so they got Max on like field goal block, and we scored a touchdown and, go a little push after the play, we're jawing back and forth. And, Mitch Schwartz on the other side of the PAT, he was like, dude, like tackles hate it when you're talking smack to like the defensive ends, right? And so like me and Crosby were shoving each other, we're talking smack, and Schwartz is getting on me, and I was like, dude, relax. That's Crosby. And then he's like, oh, I forgot. We had a little situation like that.
Oh yeah,
that's the one thing. That's the one thing as an offensive lineman. Don't piss off a guy that I got to block. All right, bro. You're making my life worse. I learned that.
Quarterback or running back is John at the D line.
Yeah, shut up, man. Yeah. Don't do that. I got to block him. All right, let's keep him calm. All right.
So funny. Yeah, me and Wylie were getting after it. We were talking. We were actually mad at each other. It was hilarious. We were getting after it, and then the second time we met up, it was all love. So
yeah. Man. It was real life tension that first go around.
Oh yeah, we were trying to injure each other, no question.
That goes back to the old saying, what happens on the practice field stays on the practice field. And guys go against each other like that. I know, the number of times I went against teammates that were really, really good made me a better football player. No question about that.
No doubt.
Each other, and you get at it. And when you can practice that way and then walk off the field, you're a better football team than you were when you walked on the field.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So for our, I'll call them our veterans who are now retired from the NFL, give some advice to, this will be year 2 for Max, and then I think year 3 for Andrew. Tell obviously Andrew is one up on Max right now with the Lombardi, but just some advice, because you guys all of you won early in your career, and then just give them some advice.
I guess I could start. One thing I would say is it goes by fast. Enjoy every second that you get to step on that field, in that locker room, those meeting rooms. I remember being a young guy and looking at, we had, my rookie year, we had two, I think 10, 11-year veterans at offensive tackle that I was playing behind. And I used to look at them and, they were playing on big contracts. They kind of made a couple Pro Bowls. I used to kind of tell myself, gosh, man, I wish I was in their shoes, And when I got to that point, when I got to my 10th year, it was the exact opposite. I was looking at the young guys saying, damn, I wish I was in their shoes, because it went by so fast. I know I'm at the end of my career. I want to do it all over again, and that was the feeling when I had to retire just about a year ago. Was it was the one I'm gonna miss playing. I'm gonna miss my teammates. I'm gonna miss the lifelong friends that I made. I'm gonna miss working out with those guys in the meetings, as boring as they can be sometimes, and it's just strenuous and the same stuff over and over again. I miss that stuff. And I guess that would be my one word of advice is, now you guys both obviously have a little bit of taste of success in the NFL. I know Wylie started a bunch of games coming off Super Bowl win, and Max coming off of just an incredible rookie year. Is enjoy it, have fun. Don't let it ever get too big and stress you out and keep you up at night. Have fun with it, man. It's a football game. It's going to go by fast. You never know when you're going to be able to play your last game. So enjoy every second you get to wear that helmet. You get to step in those buildings.
Absolutely. Great advice.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And I'll echo that. I mean, it's the same. And I just remember the older I got, it was one of those things where, the coaching staff, the organization kept, getting excited about the new rookie that was coming in. So you have to continue to prove yourself. And I just remember one year, or really my last year, Mike Tomlin, comes into the team meeting room and he's like, man, I just want to wish Charlie Batch a happy birthday. And everybody kind of looking around and like, Charlie, how old are you? I'm like, well, 38. And one of the rookies was like, damn, 38? My dad's 37. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, I said, you're laughing. I said, hopefully one day you can sit in this seat and somebody will tell you that exact same story 15 years later. So I wore that with a badge of honor the older I got, but also understood that every year you have to continue to go out and prove yourself, and you want to go out there and prove yourself that you belong, and don't let anything else distract you. Go out there and ball out.
Yeah, I can echo all of that. There's no question about that. I was a 25-year-old rookie, was very fortunate to be able to play until I was 35. There was no football left in my body the day I retired as a player, but I'll be 70 in August, and there isn't a day that goes by that I wish I could put my hand in the dirt and come off the ball and play one more play, just buckle it up for one more play. That I don't think that ever leaves a competitive football player for as long as they live. Enjoy it. Enjoy it to the max, and Andrew, because life goes by pretty quickly now for you guys. But when you hit my age, man, it zooms by. There's no doubt about that. So enjoy yourselves and have a great career.
Thank you.
The one thing I will say is do this until they kick you out. Because there's no coming back once you're on the other side. So continue to go out there and elongate your career as long as possible.
You sound like all the NFL vets I was ever around, Charlie. They always used to say, play it as long as you can. It's kind of like that Billy Madison where, stay here, don't leave. I can't wait till I go to high school. No, stay here, All the vets tell you the same thing, man. Play as long as you can. And I was like John. I wish I could still play. I wish I could play another one, but especially with the concussions and stuff I was dealing with, I didn't have another play in my body, and I'll miss it the rest of my life. No doubt about that. I know John does.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So what are you guys doing during this time? Are we binge watching movies? Are we, are we readers? What are we into? Andrew, what are to fill up your time as you're at home? What are you into? I think Call of Duty.
I'm on like 8 hours a day. I'm putting in work on the Xbox.
Dang.
But yeah, we recently started OTAs. So, that takes up, hour and a half, 2 hours of the day, just on calls, going over fundamentals, installs and stuff. Put together our first puzzle, just playing Xbox, we live right off a park. So, we take the dog out, but, just laying low, not doing too much.
Max, how about you? And you have a dog, right? You're like,
yeah, I got a couple dogs.
yeah,
yeah, but no, I've been out here just training in California, so it's the same thing, with Wylie. We have OTAs now, like on Zoom meetings, so we go from like 8 to 10 in the morning, and then I go work out from like 11 to 2. I get like rehab, and we go on the field, and we still got a gym open, so that's definitely convenient. So yeah, it's been the same thing every day, just meetings, work out, come home, play video games, and then repeat.
Yeah. John, what are you doing during these?
Well, I'm retired, and so I'm sheltered in here. I'm doing more reading. I'm working on 1,000-piece puzzles. That just is something I've been able to do to relax an awful lot. I've always enjoyed doing that. I miss seeing all the grandkids and their activities. No hockey games or basketball games to keep us busy. My wife is still working. She runs a drug and alcohol rehabilitation facility. So, I send her to work in the morning and after breakfast, and can't wait till she gets back home in the evening.
That's great.
Hey,
Charlie, you've got your Best of the Batch Foundation and stuff going on. What are you been doing during these times?
Yeah, we actually, this is a busy time. I mean, we service 3,800 kids annually throughout the Pittsburgh area, and it takes us, takes up a bunch of our time, quite frankly. And then, of course, with these circumstances that we're dealing with, we try to put the comfort in the basket sets together for kids. We did it once. This is our second time doing this, and we actually deliver them to the home. So it takes a little bit of time, but you still have to be careful. We're wearing our masks and the gloves and whatnot. So we're just trying to do our small part during this time, and hopefully we can get back to normal, or whatever that new normal is at this point. But we're just trying to adapt like everybody else.
I know you guys are doing, you and your wife are doing awesome things in Pittsburgh. So just appreciate you being involved and active that way. TJ, what are you up to? You've been binge watching anything, or what you into gaming with these guys? What's up?
I'm not into the gaming much anymore, only because like my 8-year-old beats me and it gets me too mad, so I have to step away from it a little bit. No, honestly, one day I was binge watching some shows, and the next day school was canceled, and I was a 3rd grade teacher.
Yeah.
And that's been a challenge. I got to tell you, I've got one in 3rd grade and one in preschool, and I can tell you by far I am definitely a better preschool teacher than 3rd grade, because when we get into the adjectives and nouns and verbs and all that good stuff, it's a flash down memory lane. But I got to tell you, I've been teaching myself a lot of YouTube tutorials on this stuff, so it's definitely been a challenge. My wife's been great too. I mean, she's a lot more patient than I am at times, so she's been helping a lot. She's been doing most of the work with the kids, helping them through their schoolwork. And you guys are like me. I mean, Chris and Scott being in Detroit, the weather hasn't been great. Now that it's starting to turn, it's definitely getting a lot better, at least getting outside with the kids. And hopefully we've seen our last snowflake for a good 6 or 7 months. That's all I pray for. But yeah, it's been, honestly, I kind of tell myself, I've got 3 kids now. I kind of tell myself it's basically treat it like summer break, treat it like the kids are off school, work a little bit in the mornings and get outside, have some fun. Now we're allowed to go back on the lake and play some golf. That's pretty much what I do all summer anyway. So trying to make the best of it.
That's great. I feel like I'm the principal, and then my wife is the assistant principal, and my daughter, who is a freshman, is the teacher, because she helps my son because he's in 6th grade and I don't have, it's like, are you smarter than a 5th grader? I am not. And then
Well, I'm not smarter than a third grader, so
No,
you got
I
me
know.
beat.
I would love to see the look on TJ's face when he says, "Dad, why is there a silent letter in this word?"
Yesterday was the first day we were into adjectives, and I'm just like, I kind of had a bad morning. I slept bad, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I learned. What job do you have to have when you're older that you have to know what an adjective is? Unless you're going to be an English teacher. I don't know what job you need to know what an adjective is. And I had a little period where I snapped a little bit and I had to calm down and walk away. But it's definitely been challenging, Charlie. I tell you what, if I can't answer the question, I've got my handy computer. That Google's a pretty good machine to answer my questions.
You know what's sad
adjectives
about
are giving you that bad of a run. Can't wait till you get to fractions.
We're almost there.
Yeah, get to algebra and everything. So what's sad is, TJ, you sound like my 12-year-old son when he says, "Dad, when am I going to use this? Why do I have to do that?"
I asked that question 20 years ago when I was in third grade, and I'm still asking it today. So,
cool. Hey, I really appreciate you guys coming on. I have kind of one last, question. What would be your message to someone who is thinking about coming to our campus and who would want to be an Eagle? Just, what it is about coming to Eastern and, try to help us in the recruiting bit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, I can take this one. I would just say, even Crosby mentioned it earlier, bringing up DT, but it's just the friends you make, and, I've been, fortunate enough in my 4 years at Eastern Michigan to make some lifelong friends. Me and my buddies, we still talk every single day. DT, Hurt, Creel, Brogan, Crosby. It's just a lot of those guys. If you go to Eastern, it's just the camaraderie you guys build, and we're back to winning games now too. It's just but outside of football, it's just. You'll have those friends for life, and then talking about football, that place is, incredible now with all the recent work, that's been going on there on campus. It looks absolutely beautiful. So I'd say, give Eastern a shot, if you're blessed, where Eastern's offering you, take it. It's just a beautiful opportunity to go and play football, and meet some lifelong friends.
I should say, Charlie and TJ, this would probably be good for you and John as well. Talk a little bit about the pride you have now for Eastern and like what you've seen under coaches' leadership here. Going to 3 bowl games in the last 4 years, and kind of what that's meant to you looking back, and then kind of where you think the program is right now.
Yeah, I think for me, it's first of all, when I was a young freshman, sophomore at Eastern Michigan, I can't tell you how excited we used to get when we would have alumni come back and just watch practices or sit down with us. And we started a mentorship, I think, when I was a junior or senior, and just to get matched up with some great alumni of the school and the athletic program. You saw how much pride they took in the program and how much, better they wanted it to be, because at the time when I was playing, we weren't very good, but you look at what Coach has done in the past 4 or 5 years, not only with the success that we've had on the field with going to the bowl games, and it was an impossible job. I think that's what everybody kind of thought. Why would you go to Eastern Michigan? You're going to be probably back in Division II or Division III. The work that he's done, not only on the field to turn the program around to actually put us on the map now, but what he's done with the student athletes in the classroom and having consistently one of the highest, GPA in not only the MAC, but in the country. It shows you what kind of not only athletes that he's turning out, but what kind of people that he's turning out. And there's very few guys that are going to get a chance to accelerate their athletic career after college. But I'm excited to see what a lot of these kids are going to do after college, because you see how hard they work. You see the men that they turn into after coming in as 17, 18-year-old boys. And Coach Creighton takes these kids and turns them into just great human beings. And I think that's what really I think I'm the most proud of, is talking to these kids and the gestures, whether it's, donating some money and getting letters from half the football team telling me how much they appreciate it, man, that hits home, and that makes me want to do it more. And it's a contagious sort of, mindset to rub off on all the other alumni. This is something that we want to be a part of. And, it's not just all about football, but a lot of it is for us. That's our common connection. So I've been extremely proud. I've been extremely proud to wear my Eastern Michigan gear around, at the bowl game this past year at Ford Field, seeing 40,000 Eastern Michigan fans wearing green and white was just one of the most incredible sights I've ever seen. I never thought it was going to happen. And Coach proved me wrong, and those kids proved me wrong. And it kind of tells you, never say never, man. Come to Eastern Michigan. You're going to get a great coach to mentor you and to lead you, and you're going to get you're going to have great academic resources as well. So you can really become whatever it is you want to become.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I think and echo a lot of that. And I think that for me, being 5 hours away from home and not as close in person as I would like to, just because of my media work that I'm doing down here with the Steelers, I follow them, and you all represent. It makes me a proud alumni to be able to put that block E on and follow it, especially when you're talking about beating Big Ten teams. You're talking about going to bowl games. And for me, it's kind of like Andrew, I still talk to my roommate, Sean Franklin, Freddie McGee, and to, 20 years ago, 20 some years ago, I remember Freddie McGee III being born, and we're sitting there holding him in our arms. And here he is now playing defensive back for Eastern Michigan. And he's telling these stories about where the program is going. And for him to go to bowl games, we're envy of him, because we didn't get a chance to go to a bowl game. Here he is, 3 bowl games in a row, and he's able to tell that story. And, it's awesome to watch him grow as a person, graduated this past Saturday, and super proud of him as an uncle, for him to go through and some of the challenges and that he had to work through. But to see him and knowing that the full circle of life is kind of repeating itself, it makes me proud as an alumni. And man, keep it going, super supportive and whatever that looks like. And it just made me, realize over the 15 years that I played in the National Football League, every opportunity that I was given, national TV games and whatnot, I always told people, I went to Eastern Michigan, let alone if you don't know where it's at, and this is Ypsilanti. And if you don't know how to spell it, I will tell you how to spell Ypsilanti, Michigan. So it was just one of those things to continue to put them on the map. Coach, I'm super proud of you, Scott, what you all are doing up there at Eastern Michigan. And man, blessings to you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Eastern Michigan and where the program is now under the leadership of Coach Creighton. He's done a tremendous job. There's no question about it. I've been to the last 2 bowl games, and very, very proud of Eastern Michigan. I went through the Huron and Eagle name change. I was very disappointed that they did that. I can tell you that, being upfront and honest. I'm a Huron and will be a Huron for life. But I am also an Eagle, so I guess I got the best of both worlds. My allegiance to the school is just absolutely unparalleled. I loved my time there. My teammates and I are still in contact. You guys know that. We go to the golf tournaments. I met TJ down in Alabama at the bowl game 2 years ago. I had a great time in Detroit this past bowl game. And, I will always be very proud of where we're at and what we're doing.
Yeah. Do you want me to? I'll give a little word before I said I want to cut you off, Coach. No, but I just want to say, from the moment I got there and to see where the team was at compared to when I left and to where it's at now, it's literally night and day. We were a team that was literally, I think we were 1-11 my first year there, and Coach Creighton instilled in everybody just discipline and being somebody you can trust. No matter what. Obviously, football has always been super important to you and for the whole vision of the program, but becoming a man and being disciplined and being someone you can trust, that translates onto the field, and that translates to wins and success. And that was something I feel like a lot of people at first were kind of like, they didn't know if they could trust it or not. We didn't, they saw you as somebody as like a disciplinarian and all that type of stuff. But as you can see, it's been 5 going on 6 years, and you proved to everybody you're someone that can lead a bunch of group of men. And it's awesome. I'm so proud to come from Eastern. I love the school, and I can't wait till I can get back to the school, and eventually that day will come, and I'm just proud to be an Eagle, no question.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't what it was supposed to be about, but I will want to say this, being here for 6 years. So, I'm looking at all your faces. I got it on the gallery deal, and Lionel, who's not able to be on the call, he's been involved. And then, we just got to mention, Ron Johnson again, and I'm including those two in this group. And here's the thing, it's 100% of support and participation from you guys. And you're obviously a small percentage representing, football alumni. But it's Max and the Super Bowl gang here. And so I'm just saying, I didn't get to go to Eastern Michigan, but I'm in charge of the program right now. And when you have all of you, and again, you're just a small percentage of how active, involved you guys are, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I'm not lying when I say we recruit every day. We recruit on Christmas. We recruit on July 4th. We recruit on January 12th. We recruit every day. And what we talk about is the people, because I think that always defines your experience. And so we're talking about you guys. I mean, you guys are Super Bowl champs and should have been Rookie of the Year. And so we talk about you all the time. And if we didn't know you and you were just a face on a wall that we'd never met and that you had no relationship back with the program, we'd still talk about you because, that's recruiting. But as involved as you guys are, I'm telling you, it makes me so proud to lead this program. And just know that you guys are a huge influence on this program and in the recruiting that we do. And I mean, this fires me up, man. Just great people. And so I really appreciate you guys being on, and Scott, for you letting me be a part of it.
Yeah, Coach, what's really cool is that's what I was going to hit on. I didn't go to Eastern Michigan. I grew up in Kalamazoo, and I went to another MAC school. But so we talk about, and TJ and Charlie are on my advisory board as well, and I know they do a lot with Game Above, which I wanted to mention as well. I talked to them before about the importance of them just being around. And it's not necessarily about how much you're giving or what you're giving. It's more about connecting with the program and being around, because this is their school. This is your team. This is your university. And yes, we get paid to lead and do things, and we love our university to do that. But you guys, this is like your whole life. Will always have that. And so I've appreciated the fact that when I sent out a note to everyone, it's when you want to do it. When you want to get to, I'm like, hey, I'd love to get the Super Bowl gang together. And then I'm like, hey, Max, I want you to surprise these guys. You okay with that? He's like, heck yeah, I'll come on and, and do that. And you guys didn't skip a beat. And even, Charlie, I know you rearranged your schedule to make it so you could join us. And John's like, what are you talking about? What's this Zoom thing you're telling me? I mean, it's just incredible. So we've just got to continue the momentum. And, I know a number of you were back for our 99th homecoming, our first athletic reunion last year. And this year we're going to have our 100th homecoming and have a big blowout. And, some of you NFL guys that are currently playing can't make it back, but everybody else, it's your team, your university, your athletic department. And so I just appreciate everything you guys have done, just being around and being willing to do this and be connected. It's meant a lot. And I wanted to thank Charlie and TJ, that you're on the board of the Game Above group, and the $2 million gift this past week to every one of our seniors that graduated and were supposed to walk across the stage, got a nice gift from Game Above, which is just incredible. And then to turn around and offer basically $400 for every freshman that's going to come to Eastern Michigan this fall. and just as a, hey, I know times are rough, we want to help you out. That was just incredible. And I just wanted to make sure to thank you both. I know it's a bigger group than both of you, and you're both humble about it. But I just had to make sure I mentioned that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a pleasure being part of that group as well. And, you know, our leader's a lot like Coach. He doesn't like a lot of the recognition and very, very humble. Just very awesome. I mean, and like Coach said, I think, you know, we're a very, very small percentage of the people who are very proud of Eastern Michigan, where we come from, trying to give back. But I got to tell you, the one thing that I saw, and Charlie probably saw as well, was when this gift that was announced a couple days ago from Game Above for all the seniors and, like you said, incoming freshmen, I took about an hour and I was kind of reading all the feedback, and I was reading from you know, kids that were coming to school saying thank you, kids that were graduating saying how much it meant to them, and obviously these uncertain times, but also a ton of other alumni, just random alumni, you know, sending messages saying, how can I join? How can I help? Man, this is inspiring, and I want to be a part of that too, and I want to give back. I think reading all those positive messages about, you know, our Eastern Michigan family kind of had me choked up a little bit. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, especially for Eastern Michigan. So I think we're definitely a small percentage of the people who are very proud of where we're coming from. I mean, there's a lot of us out there. And like you said, I think it's what's going on right now, especially with what Game Above's doing. I think it's contagious, and I think it's only going to grow. And I'm excited about it.
DJ, you nailed it, and I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, everything is going on, I'm just excited to be a part of this group, and not only now, but in the future for years to come.
TJ, I had to mention, I love the hair, man. I heard you finally, first time you've ever totally did it. Oh, look at that. I'm afraid.
I shaved it 2 months ago, and it's not grown back, so I'm starting to get a little concerned. It must, you know, it was growing fine until I had to start teaching third grade, and then I think it's actually getting shorter. It's kind of stressing me out a little bit. First time ever, I said, you know what, I'm going to be locked inside for Lord knows how long. I might as well shave it. I'm not going to have to see anybody anytime soon anyways. These Zoom meetings kind of ruined it for me, but thanks, Scott. I appreciate it.
I had to call it out. I can't help it. Mine's getting so long, I can't press it down, nothing. I tried to do the beard and had it grow for a while, and my kids were like, I'm so sick and tired of it, so they cleaned me up a little bit. So,
there you go. You look good.
I can't get it to look like Max. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Guy's looking grizzly.
Absolutely. I'm working on the Brett Kiesel right now, so it's
Cool.
getting serious.
Well, I've taken up enough of your guys' time. We've been on about an hour or so, and I just, again, I can't say enough for each of you. And Andrew and Max, good luck this year. Obviously, you got a lot of fans back here cheering for you. If there's ever anything I can do, certainly reach out. It's usually the other way around. We're reaching out to you for help or tickets or something else. Let's hope that everybody gets back to normal here pretty quickly. We need sports, and sports is such ingrained. We were talking about it on a call. If you can imagine, the communities need the sports just as much as our universities and the NFL and Major League Baseball. Those communities live off of that as well, and TV and everything else. So we've got to get it figured out. But just saying thank you. Appreciate all you do for Eastern Michigan. Max, thanks for Zoom bombing us. And
Thank y'all for having me on, man.
Yep. Good luck. Coach, thanks for joining us too.
Oh, this is awesome. Max and I are the two that don't have trophies. We got to go get them.
I know, exactly.
Oh,
I might stop eating Snickers too, like you. I gotta find that. I gotta figure something out.
Defending champs in your division, so you got to get after it.
Oh yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it.
Well, thanks, Scott. This was fun, man. It's good to catch up with everybody too.
Yeah. Appreciate all you guys.
Absolutely.
Good seeing you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
See everybody.
Y'all.
Bye, guys.
Back to Ypsilanti, back to Ypsilanti, where